Happy Tuesday, everyone. We have a fun little work set coming your way. It's some big numbers, but we'll take it down. We'll break it down for you guys. We'll have some fun today. Before we get to that, let's talk about the warm-up. The warm-up, we have a Sumo Stance good morning at a 5 to 10 rep, kind of variance, take down whatever rep scheme you need. Dynamic triangle for 3 to 5 aside. Sumo Squat Hold for 10 to 30 seconds. Goblet Squat for 3 to 5 at a 3-3-3. Narrow Squat Hold for 10 to 30 seconds. And then some weighted or unloaded calf raises for 20 to 30 seconds of just steady state. So if you want to load them, you can. If you don't, that's fine too. 2 to 3 rounds of that piece just to kind of give yourself a once over. Then you're going to move down to this bottom piece, which you're going to work on some skill. Dumbbell Sumo Deadlift high pull for 3, into a Dumbbell Snatch for 3, and a Dumbbell overhead hold for 15 to 20 seconds. And then repeat on the opposite side. So go through the whole thing on the one side, take it down the other side, and then move on to this lovely little skill. We have the back lunge to high knee jump. So a nice little chance to work on some coordination, a little bit of power, and just some coordination, some power output, which is kind of fun to play with some footwork. If you'd like to add in some skipping or a skipping variation at the end of this, you're more than welcome to, cardio of choice. I'll put that on the bottom of the workout description, some kind of equivalents to the double under, depending on what you have access to at home. Now you'll take that down 3 to 5, and then you take down the work set. The work set is 3 exercises. You're going to take down 100 double unders, 50 jump squats, 25 dumbbell snatch. Then you're going to do 50 double unders, 25 jump squats, 15 dumbbell snatch. And then finally 35 double under, 15 jump squat, 10 dumbbell snatch. The dumbbell snatches are alternating, so it's back and forth, nice and steady. The jump squat, I'm going to have a couple different variations on the bottom there for you. If you want to experiment with some different things, check it out. And then the double under as well, I'll have some other options at the bottom that are equivalent to that double under work set. So if you don't have room for skipping or a skipping rope at home, please don't worry, you'll have some other options. But let's get you ready, warmed up, and excited about this good time. All right, let's get you guys ready to go. Let's get those feet under the hips. We're gonna take the arms big and tall up overhead. We're just gonna give ourselves a little shrug, keeping the arms straight. We're gonna come back down. We're gonna bring those hands all the way to the floor, touching those toes. We're gonna walk with the shins. We'll come down, framing a foot. We'll step that foot back into our lizard. Locking those legs in place. Inside hand's gonna reach way up to the sky. We're gonna rotate as far down as we can, and then come back up. Then we're gonna rotate, forearm down, and then back up. And one last time, rotate, forearm down, and back up. We're gonna plant the hands. We're gonna step back into our down dog. Reaching those hips, nice and set. Come back into our plank. Stepping the other foot up. Locking those legs in place. Inside hand is gonna reach up. We're gonna rotate, forearm to the floor. Come back up. Rotate, forearm to the floor, and take it all the way up, and rotate, forearm to the floor. Come back up overhead, plant the hand. We're gonna step back into our down dog, reaching those hips super high. We're gonna walk those heels nice and gentle, nice and easy. Just waking up those feet. Got a little bit of jumping to do today. We'll come back into the plank, tiptoe those feet all the way up. We're gonna roll ourselves up, big stretch, good reach, good, come down, woo! Let's get you fired up, you guys. If you'd like to do some more gentle warm-up, please be my guest. Take that down, cat-cows, thread the needle, scap push-ups, whatever you need for your body today, take that down, get yourself ready. We're gonna move into that first phase of warm-up right now. All right, we're going to kickstart off our day today with a Sumo Stance good morning. So our Sumo Stance is going to be outside our regular squat stance. It's going to be relatively far outside of the shoulders. So nice and wide stance. I'm going to turn profile so you guys can see that in terms of what my hips are going to do. So I'm going to squeeze, set my ribs, and maintain that nice solid position from head to hip crease. As I take my hips back in the sumo position, I'm going to pull the hips back, keeping that body still, not breaking, not moving, and then standing nice and tall in that position. So my glutes come squeezing at the top to open up my hips, making sure that we're not going forward, hyperextended. We're just standing up nice and tall. So again, soft knees as I hips back, I hinge, rocking that position, and then I stand with a good glute squeeze, and then open up. So from there, that nice kind of hinging pattern, we're going to work on a slight hinging pattern the other way in our dynamic triangle. So our stance stays the same. So we stay in our sumo stance. One toe points to the side, one toe points on the angle. I bring a hand to the thigh, big reach up, and I pull my hip back as I take it all the way down to the floor, and then I slowly squeeze and rise. So I pull the hip back and towards the heel, which tilts my body just a bit, and then hinge down towards the floor. So really working on that nice hinge, that nice position, and keeping that arm pressing to the ceiling. If you'd like to load this arm a little bit, you can, but we want to make sure that we're keeping it really light, just so that we can work on stabilizing the shoulder and seeing and feeling where that shoulder is in time and space. Afterwards, we move into our Sumo Squat Hold. So same stance. I'm going to turn back profile so you guys can see my hips. But same stance, we're going to hold the bottom position. So we're going to stay active the entire time. So we want to think about pushing those knees out just a little bit more than we normally would in our normal squat. So squeezing, setting, we're pressing those knees out as I come down. My feet are flat, my chest is high. I'm holding this position. I'm going to hold this for 10 to 30 seconds, whatever I need for myself today. Whatever's going to allow me to rise properly out of the bottom of that squat. So it's very important that our hips and our shoulders come up together as I stand out of that squat. We don't want to hinge over and have our hips shoot up, dumping our chest forward. So give yourself that opportunity to come out a little earlier if you need to maintain good form as we exit the squat hold. Enter the same way as we exit. That's what we want to keep thinking in our mind. Next is our goblet squat, right? Or an air squat hold, or air squat tempo style. So if you're going to rock the goblet, the dumbbell's going to come up under the chin. Feet are going to be in our regular squat stance. We're going to press into the dumbbell just a little bit to keep our upper body engaged and our body tall and upright. Now in this position, we're going to take a nice 3-3-3 tempo. So it's going to be a hip to heel guide. So 3, 2, 1. My feet stay flat as I hold for 3 seconds. My knees are pressing out a bit, and I'm staying tight as I stand for 3 seconds. So 3 down, 3 hold, 3 stand. Our hips again go towards our heels. Our knees track the toes. My chest is up, and I'm giving myself that little extra engagement as I push into the dumbbell, which can help keep everything nice and upright. Take your time with those. That's going to help open up those hips even more and kind of rein in and build that kind of engagement of what we just opened up in our sumo squat hold. Our next movement is a narrow squat hold. So we're going to come back into that narrow stance. So a regular squat stance, anything inside. And again, this can change every single day, time of day. So be gentle with yourself and allow yourself to work with the narrow stance that suits your needs today. So my feet are going to be inside my regular squat stance. My toes are apart, my feet are apart. My knees are going to track the toes, so I'm going to have my toes slightly turned out. I squeeze my glutes and I'm going to take them down, just like I did for my goblet squat, hip to heel. I'm going to work on fighting for that upright body, keeping my weight over top of my laces, and taking it to the bottom of my position. From here, like the sumo squat hold, I'm going to give myself that chance to leave that squat hold before I have to fall out or change and contort my exit. My entry and exit should look the same. So make sure we're listening to our body and staying engaged at the bottom. We're going to hold anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. It's a broad range, but I want you guys to give yourself the dose that you need. Maybe first round you're holding for 15 to 20. Who knows? Maybe for the last couple rounds you're holding, 20 to 30. But give yourself that dose of squat holds that you need today. Last but not least, we're going to wake up those calves after that narrow stance. We can do it loaded, holding the dumbbell to the front, or we can hold it suitcase, or we can hold two in a farmer's position, but our toes are going to be straight ahead. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, set my ribs, especially if I'm holding a dumbbell, and I'm going to push, thinking balance between my big toe and my pinky toe, and then lower down. I'm going to work on 20 to 30 seconds, calf raise. and steady, working on that control, working on my balance, and strengthening of those feet and my calves. So really making sure that I'm staying balanced. We don't want to be walking all over the place when we do these calf raises. So take your time. They don't have to be fast. Take your time and keep them at a pace so you can control your body. Quick little recap. We have a sumo squat, good morning, 5 to 10 reps. Dynamic triangle for 3 to 5 a side. Sumo squat hold for 10 to 30 seconds. Goblet squat reps for 3 to 5 at a 3-3-3, or air squat reps for 3-3-3. Narrow squat hold, 10 to 30 seconds, finishing off with some calf raises, 20 to 30 seconds. We're not going for an allotted amount of reps, so there's no proper number. Just work 20 to 30 seconds at a smooth, steady tempo for you. Use this top piece to really open up your squat mechanics for what's to come. It's really going to help get that body ready for those snatches as well. So have some fun with this, take your time, and pause that video, take it down, and then come join me for phase 2, where we start playing with the dumbbell and throwing that thing overhead. All right, so our next phase of work, what we have for you guys, we have a nice solid set of sumo deadlift high pulls to snatch and overhead holds. So it's kind of a complex, all on one side and then all on the other. And we want to feed into that high pull and use that high pull to start feeling that weightlessness of the dumbbell. And as that weightlessness of the dumbbell takes over, we pull ourselves into the bottom of that snatch. So what we want to think about is really driving through those legs, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to stand right over top of that dumbbell so it cuts my foot in half. So the dumbbell's roughly where my laces are. From there, we're going to get into that good hinge, working on keeping our chest up just a little bit more than normal. So I want to make sure my chest stays upright, my hips are a little deeper so I can get down to the bottom. I'm going to push through those legs and drive as I open those hips and knees. As I do so, I continue the momentum with the arm, and I pull that dumbbell to the sternum, keeping that elbow high and outside. There shouldn't be any unnecessary stress or strict pulling or over pulling with the arm. We want to make sure that we're allowing that momentum to continue up to the chest. Now I'm just going to turn sideways so you guys can see that as I move into my snatch. So I'm going to do one more high pull so you can see the direction of my elbow. The goal of this high pull is to direct the dumbbell up, but we need to take the elbow high and outside. So we want to make sure it's not coming forward and up. We want to think back and up. Okay, so we're opening and making space in the shoulder, so allowing that overhead snatch. So now the snatch, I take it down, I get set, and whatever floor position feels good, I do that same drive through the legs. The only difference is I pull myself into that little power landing, and I pull myself and punch overhead. So I land in that nice strong overhead position. So I take it down, I push through those legs, drive, keeping that dumbbell close, I pull myself under. And depending on the loading of dumbbell, right, the arm doesn't really do a lot of pulling in this. It just more along the lines pulls us down into that power position and then supports in the overhead position. Once I'm done my third snatch, I'm going to hold that dumbbell overhead. So my third snatch, I push, stand tall, adjust my feet if I need to, and now I'm going to push into that dumbbell and hold, keeping my ribs in, armpit forward, and my ear is just on the other side of that bicep. So I'm holding this dumbbell actively overhead, always pressing in. I'm going to hold for 10 to 20 seconds in this overhead position. Then I'll come down, switch sides, and repeat on the opposite side. So I want to make sure that I'm grooving that good drive through the legs, the hips, opening, guiding the dumbbell close, pulling underneath, locking it overhead. So really embrace that sumo deadlift high pull to guide you into that dumbbell path in the snatch. After that kind of series and that complex per side, we're going to work on some coordination, some power output. And I'm going to show you two different variations. We're going to work with a back lunge to high knee jump. So what we're going to do is we are going to step back, and we are going to pop. I'm going to come back, and pop. So you'll notice my arms, as I step back with this leg, my arm comes forward, and then as I drive through, my hand shoots back, the other hand comes up, and helps give me that little lift. Now, it doesn't have to be a high jump. We're not looking for a big, tall jump. We need to focus on two things. We need to focus first on the lunge and the positioning. So I keep my knee over top of my heel, my knee stays underneath my hip, and then I come up, into that nice swing jump with the arms. So we're using that body momentum to lift that knee and pull my foot off the floor. Now, if you're not quite comfortable jumping, we can work on that high knee, back lunge to high knee, to work on the rhythm and the timing, the balance of it all. And then as you start to feel comfortable, we can work on getting into that nice little lift and that pop through the ankle. So we're gonna work 20 seconds on one side and then 20 seconds on the other side. That will give you lots of opportunity to practice and take your time working on that skill and not feel rushed, nor do you have to alternate feet and get all lost in your footwork. You can just focus primarily on one side. You can work the arms, you can work the leg to whatever style you want. The other variation you can play with this if you're not feeling the lunge today is that back scale. So we get that back scale, square hip to the floor, square shoulders to high knee. And I come back down and reset. So I find that balance, that single leg strength and control, come through high knee for balance. Very similar, we're just not working with that kind of flexion at the knee and that lowering. So we can work on our balance, we can move into that high knee. It's building very similar kind of attributes, just without the lunge. After that, if you'd like to add in some cardio of choice, practice your skipping, whatever you plan on using for your double unders, you can do that for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then repeat. So building your working weight, figuring out what you're gonna use for your snatches, playing around that lunge position, and getting yourself ready with whatever else you need to add in there to get yourself for the work set. So pause the video, take that down, play with that, work that balance, coordination, really focus on that leg drive and building that power output, and we're gonna see where that takes us. It's gonna take us right into this work set. All right, so the workout today, what we have for you guys, we have 150, 35 double under, 50, 25, 15 jump squat, 25, 15, 10 dumbbell snatch. So we're taking it down, 100 double unders, 50 jump squat, 25 snatch, 50, 25, 15, 35, 15, 10. Done. So you're finishing the workout with 10 alternating dumbbell snatches. Now the double under, if you don't have space for skipping, I'm gonna have a bunch of different options at the bottom of the workout description for you. You can choose, have some fun with it, make it yours, and it's gonna be the equivalent to that double under work set. The only movement we didn't cover in our work or our warm-up today is our jump squat. We've done a bunch of different types of squats, but the jump squat is there for a little bit more explosiveness. So the jump squat, we have 3 different variations. You can work on its base level, which is the air squat. So setting up in our regular squat stance, just like our goblet squat earlier. We take the hips to the heels, knees track the toes, we stay upright, and we stand. So we can work on that nice, smooth, kind of more aggressive extension or standing up, if you like, or just working on a really good air squat quality, because that is the foundation movement of a lot of these things that we do, especially the jump squat. The next variation of the jump squat is a little bit more explosive, but we don't leave the floor. We establish that good squat, and we drive and close. So we're opening the hips and legs aggressively. That's gonna pull me off the floor with my heels, but I'm gonna pull right back down, so I'm not leaving the ground. My feet stay in the same place. I'm just opening and closing, working on my deceleration and acceleration. So I take it down again, good squat, open, close, come back down. From there, what I have is our full jump squat, where we actually leave the ground. Our stance doesn't change, but it has the potential to change because we're leaving our contact with the earth. So we want to make sure we establish that good squat stance first. We take that good squat down, open, close, and then move into the next rep. So we want to make sure that we're decelerating as we take it down into that next rep. So we're setting ourselves up into that good, strong squat to execute our jump and our drive. So depending on where you want to live with that, you can play with the air squat, the non-jumping jump squat, the jump squat, and I'll have a couple different variations in the workout description for you as well, if you'd like to tackle one of those. So take that down. We're working for quality there. It's going to get the heart rate pretty high, but it's going to give you a chance to really work those squat mechanics and that fast, explosive hip. The last exercise is the dumbbell snatch. The only kicker in the dumbbell snatch in terms of difference between the workout and the warm-up is we're alternating reps. So we're going to take our snatch from the floor or wherever that happens to be. We're going to finish, and then we're going to alternate to the other side, and we'll do whatever number we're on, total count reps. I cannot stress it enough though, you guys, we really have to focus on the back position as we take the dumbbell down, all right? So we're setting ourselves up as if we were doing a touch and go rep, even if we're not doing a touch and go rep. We're setting ourselves up, putting that back into a really strong position, just like we worked in our sumo squat, our sumo good morning, and our sumo deadlift high pull. We want to make sure that that back position is strong and stable as we are going down for that next rep. We want to make sure we stay away from this bend, pull into good position, snatch, bend, pull in a good position, because the bending portion, even though you're executing the snatch from a good back position, you're still flexing at that spine and putting a lot of pressure on your back. So we need to make sure as the dumbbell comes down, we pull back into that good hinge, chest is up, we snatch, we pull, and we snatch. So we're putting ourselves in that position on every rep. It's gonna be a fun workout, you guys. I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's gonna be quicker than you think. It's not a super long workout, but it is gonna be quicker than you think. So have some fun with it. Rock these movements. As always, you guys, work for quality and have a ton of fun. And let me know how it goes. Let me know what you choose for that jump squat, what you use for cardio, all that good stuff. I'm always interested to hear you guys are doing at home and choosing for these workouts. So have fun. We'll see you tomorrow for a little bit of gymnastics fun. Ooh, can't wait. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, you guys.